team number 1, okay? And you are team number 2. So for this round, on this side you will be the affirmative team.
Okay.
On this one, you will be the negative team, okay? Alright, you will have 15 minutes to do the research. You can use any devices, paper or computer. Guys, one person speak at a time. Okay? And then each speaker will have 4 minutes to speak. And in between, you have 1 minute to prepare. Okay? Are we clear about the rules? Good. So 15 minutes to do research now.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, affirmative team and negative team. I'm the first speaker of affirmative team with a motion that it is easier for people to be ignored by the internet. And first, I will introduce my team. That I'm the first speakers. I will say my opinion that internet is distracting and addictive. Trúc is the second speaker of my team, and she will talk about we are depend too much on internet, so we don't have time to discover it by ourselves. And Phong is the last speaker of my team. He will summarize our opinion and give rebuttal to the negative team. First, I want to define some keyword in the motion. The first keyword is ignorant. Ignorant is looking knowledge or awareness in general. And the second word is internet. Internet is a global computer network providing information and other service. So move to my argument. I think that the internet is distracting and addictive. For example, like Messenger or Facebook, we are depend too much on and we cannot be concentrated while we are studying because it's have ting or something, so this can affect our mind while we are studying. So it can be easier for us to be getting ignorant.
Honorable judges, foreign debaters, my name is Phan and I am the first speaker of the negative side, and I'm here to strongly believe that the internet is not making it easier for people to be ignorant. Before I start my point, I would like to have a rebuttal for the affirmative team that is told that the internet is distracted and it can be addicted to people, but like you have some examples like messengers or Facebook or other social media that it will reduce our concentration. But however, social media like messages or Facebook also have good benefits. It's like places to text, like to exchange, to communicate and communicate easier, and also like learning easier. So I think that the first affirmative team's argument it depends on the attitude of the person. And move on to my point that I also agree about the definition of the keywords of the first speaker of the affirmative team. Now our team have me and Hưng. He's going to be the one who going to summarize our team's case, and we have some arguments to against the motion that the internet is a very big treasure of knowledge that people can use very conveniently, like using in cell phones or laptops or even computers is very convenient, and the internet is a tool for students and other people to know some websites that they can exchange knowledge and their ideas and the ways to study. So, for example, like a website called Quora and more, and also the internet. And secondly, that the internet is a tool to help students know about some competition, like the website you know about the World Scholars Cup. Yeah, so children can compete and they will know that how much knowledge they have gained, so that they know how smart they are. So they want to learn more about this modern society, and that is the end of our. That's the end of.
Hello, Judge, my teammates, and the opponents. I'm the second speaker of the affirmative team with a motion that the internet is making it easier for people to be ignorant. The first speaker of the negative team has said that the internet includes a big treasure of information. It is good for students and other people because it includes websites to exchange knowledge and like to help us know the competitions and some more. But I think that this is not good for students because when the internet have knowledge, students and other people just like research on the internet, and like we don't think of the information and others, so we can like will make our mind not developing. So the rebuttal of this of the negative of the first speaker of the negative team is a bit overlapping to my argument, so I will explain more carefully. So when the internet appears, people like always use them to research like and find information. So this sometimes this makes people dependent on the internet. So when we don't have the internet, for example, in the forest, we can find information and suggestions and help from the internet. So this sometimes help us useless. You don't have knowledge in your mind to help you survive, for example. So this is not good for you. You can die in that cases. And the evidence for this is more than 15% of people nowadays in the society use the internet to research. So this makes people's mind will not develop and makes the society goes down. This is according to the internet stats and facts for 2019. Thank you for listening.
Honorable judges, following debaters, I'm the second speaker of the negative side, and I'm here to strongly believe that the internet is not making it easier for people to be ignorant. And first of all, I would like to have a rebuttal of the affirmative team ideas that is told that people will be depending on the internet so that people cannot develop. And you said that people will die, but I think that it's irrelevant to the motion, like it's overlap. It's overlap. And now move on to my point that we have an argument against the motion that the internet helps people easier to search for knowledge in the fastest way, such as Wikipedia, the Guardian, and more. And in class now, in recent years, students in classes wrote, which means that they studied, but actually they do not understand what that means. So the internet is a perfect tool so that students can research very fast and also knowledge also very fast and easy. And also the internet has very simple, easy words, not too complicated words. So it's easier to students. It's easier to students to understand the knowledge by using the internet. And therefore, there is no doubt that the internet is not making making it easier for people to be ignorant. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Phong and I am the third speaker of the Affirmative team. So, the topic for our debate today is that the internet is making it easier for people to be ignorant. So, as Affirmative, we believe that this statement is true. I also would like to summarize the whole round, and at the same time, inside of my summary, I also want to rebut the opponent's idea too, in the same box. So, the first speaker of the negative team said that the internet is a great place to exchange information. We can go on educative websites to find ways to learn, find other kinds of info, but we think that this statement is wrong, this point is wrong, because as we get more info from the internet, the development of our brain will slower, because we always depend on the internet, and with a click of a button we can get access to instant information. That way we won't be able to discover different kinds of information on our own in books or by experimenting. For the second speaker, this is also my rebuttal. I'd like to take a little time to rebut their rebuttal against our second point. They said that because our point was overlapping, it is irrelevant to the motion. This is wrong because, first of all, overlapping arguments doesn't mean that it is irrelevant. The fact that we mentioned that you could die in a forest, we're talking about an example to say that when we use the internet too much, we won't be able to find information on our own. So when we get stuck in a forest, we could die because we don't know how to discover information, to know how to survive naturally. About their point, the second point, they said that on the internet, if you don't understand anything, you can just go on the internet and ask for a definition or an explanation for something you don't understand. We disagree with this because I also want to repeat our second point again, that if we do this, we won't be able to discover information anymore. We don't know how to discover information on our own and always depend on the internet all the time to get our explanation. For our team, the first speaker of our team said that the internet is making it easier for people to be ignorant because it distracts us with social media, with Messenger, Facebook, or Twitter, which is also filled with a lot of entertainment and usually very strange content, which could make us distracted. Our second speaker said that since the internet is always about instant knowledge, again, we can't learn the ability to discover knowledge on our own and depend on the internet. Because as you know, with a click of a button, you can get instant information. And thank you for listening, and that's the end of my summary.
Yes, sir.
Honorable test, fellow debaters, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the last speaker for the negative team. I'm here with strong voice that the internet isn't making it easier for people to be ignored. First, the ideas from the affirmative have some misunderstand. So my mission is that clear enough. First, they have said that internet can distract and addictive the student people. I think that is relevant because for the awareness of each person, because we have internet to help us do everything easier. And if they excessive abuse is for the awareness of each person. Second, they depending on the internet and cannot and develop. Maybe there are examples. Maybe they can die in the forest. But I have to say that it's about exclude. They are excludable because they have knowledge, so they can do something to survive in the forest, not to die. And second, saying the first one is irrelevant because it's for the awareness of each person. Again, I want to prove that the internet makes us smarter or just not stupider. First, the largest internet is tool for students and people to know the website, and they can exchange knowledge and ways to study easier, like Quora. Second, it is a tool to help students know about many competition in the internet, and they compete and know what they are to improve themselves. Second, in class, students make rote, so they can't understand the knowledge exactly, so they have less knowledge than the normal people. So the internet can have website that helps students easy to study by easy word, they can understand it correctly. Again, I'm here and I agree that the internet makes people smarter with three reasons. First, it's a tool to exchange knowledge. Second, they give us more competition. The third one, that it gives us faster and easier, correctly knowledge and easy to understand.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that is the end of the first round. What do you think?
Bạn ấy Hưng nói quá hay để bọn con nghe. kiểu nó gọi là kiểu quá cảm xúc lên. Cả bài mà fully gần như fully nhìn giấy luôn.
Okay.
Không thì bạn ấy nhìn tay mà nó chẳng tí ai có tắt.
Okay, I will have very quick comments because I want the other teams to learn from that as well. One thing is we can say that the ideas of both teams in this round are not very strong. Why? Because you didn't define the term ignorant clearly enough and accurate enough. Right? Because you only focus on one aspect of being ignorant. That is about the knowledge that you can learn from the internet. Why being ignorant also may mean that because you focus too much on the virtual world, that you ignore the world outside, for example. So you don't know what is happening around you in the real world, but you bury your head on the internet, for example. Or being ignorant also means that you believe in something too easily without critically questioning it. Then if you define the term ignorant more carefully, you will have more ideas to develop from that and more aspects of the debates to discuss.
Cho mình thì cô search definition có liên quan tới em.
Definition is very important because it shapes the whole discussion. What ideas will be considered relevant and what are not. So you may not see the importance of definition, but it's actually very important. It is the frame of the whole discussion. So spend more time with the definition there. Okay, that's one thing. The second thing is all of you hold very big notes in your hand.
Đúng rồi bạn. Ở đấy đi thi thật thì bọn con đã chuẩn bị mấy tờ A5 nữa không? Nhưng mà ở đây thì bọn con không chuẩn bị. Nhưng mà thầy không
Use smaller notes, right? Use smaller notes because otherwise you will cover your face.
Bọn con ghi ý thành một cái bảng như này nên nếu mà con không ghi ý thì đấy.
So you have to figure out a way, guys. You have to figure out a way to make better notes. That's one thing. And you cannot read from notes. You have to remember. And even the motion, you need to remember the motion. Don't look at the board every time. You need to remember the motion. Okay. So some of those you should make sure that you remember. All right. Good. So we will go back to the comments in more details later. Now I would like the affirmative team to stay and the negative team you can withdraw, and then the other team can you